Hello and welcome to a special edition of Business Africa. I am Afolake Oyinloye. As we celebrate the 100th episode of Business Africa, we're taking some time out to review the major stories broadcast on the program. As we know, Africa has many stories, both good and bad. Africa has suffered quite a number of setbacks. The road to success has never been easy. A major event in 2016, the Nigerian economy slipping into recession with figures showing the economy contracting by 2.06% between April and June. That year, we had just launched Africanews. The oil industry, which accounted for 70% of government income, was hit by weaker global prices. In 2017, South Africa equally slipped into recession after its GDP declined by 0.7%. The two countries, in a September 2017 report, were no longer technically in recession as the economies both grew, with Nigeria at 0.6% and South Africa at 2.5%. Now, this is quite recent. In December 2017, the news was confirmed that Egypt will receive $2 billion in the first disbursal of a $12 billion International Monetary Fund loan in June or July. The disbursement will bring the total Egypt has received so far from the facility to $8 billion. Egypt's economy has been teetering on the brink since 2011 and is faced with rising inflation, increasing public debt, and an unemployment rate of about 13%. There is also a significant foreign currency crisis and Egypt's foreign reserves at $15.5 billion. Tourism is at an all-time low with no signs of recovery. The IMF loan may help the country to absorb shock and thereby stabilize. Currently, 4 of 6 countries in Central African Economic and Monetary Community, CEMAC, are now in oil collapse and debt crisis program. Their economic fate are intertwined because they share a common central bank and currency. Currently, Central African leaders have refused to devalue the CFA franc. The BA governor in 2017 said that the present economic situation of CEMAC and that prior to the devaluation in 1994 are totally different. CEMAC member countries at that time were facing a serious economic recession, considerable budget deficit, substantial balance of payment deficit occasioned by drop in global commodity prices, among others. However, the present situation, they believe, is not as terrible, even though the growth rate is paltry 1%. Today's edition is indeed mostly anchored on oil prices. The report you're about to watch analyzes the trend and dwindling of oil prices in the global market as they become a source of concern for oil-producing countries. Have a look.
Global oil prices have been one of the most debated trends in the 21st century economics. From the year 2000 to 2008, the price of oil saw an unprecedented shake from the under $25 per barrel to almost $150 per barrel. From the year 2000 to 2008, the price of oil saw an unprecedented shake from under $25 per barrel to almost $150 per barrel. Just after that, a deep global recession affected the demand for energy and sent the prices of the product to a free fall. The African continent is home to 5 of the top 30 oil-producing countries in the world and accounted for more than 8.7 million barrels per day in 2014. African oil-producing nations were mostly affected by the fall as most depended on the product as the only means of foreign revenue. In Nigeria, Africa's biggest oil producer, growth remains weak in the nation's economy as it continues to emerge from its 2016 recession, the country's first full-year contraction in 25 years. Numerous factors contributed to the 2014 drop in oil prices. However, the same countries that pushed up the price of oil in 2008 with their demand helped bring oil prices down in 2014 by demanding much less of it.
Saudi Arabia is talking up the oil price because it wants to get the best price it possibly can for the flotation of Aramco, which it still suggests is going to happen by the end of 2018, something I remain sceptical upon. So realistically, I don't think a target of 100 is in their head. They're just trying to talk the oil market up.
OPEC member countries are slated to meet in June in Vienna to decide their next steps after reducing output since January 2017 in a move aimed at supporting prices. According to the OPEC monthly oil market report, world oil demand will increase by 1.3 million barrels per day in 2018.
We're taking a break, and when we come back, Africanews senior journalist will be joining us on set for a synoptic look on the Cameroonian economy. Stay with us for the special edition of Business Africa as we mark the 100th episode.